Today is the lecture about the rickettsia. We will discuss about the morphology of and the antigens of the rickettsia, pathogenesis, clinical features, then lab diagnosis and interpretation of the results. So rickettsia are the gram-negative cocobacilli. They are non-motile. They are obligate intracellular organisms. These are the characteristic features of the rickettsia. They are non-cultivable in artificial media. They can grow in cell lines, animals, and the egg inoculation, and they are transmitted by arthropod vectors such as tick, mite, flea, or the louse. So any of these can be the arthropod vectors for the transmission of these infections. So these are the common characteristics of this organism. So it is broadly divided into this group of rickettsia. Now the classification of this family, organisms into the family of rickettsia, Rickettsia, family Anaplasmataceae, and Coxiella and Bartonella are excluded from this because the Coxiella is not arthropod-borne, transmitted by inhalational mode, not by the vector-borne, and Bartonella is not an obligate intracellular parasite. It can grow into the cell-free media. So these are the organisms: Rickettsia, Orientia, Ehrlichia, Wolbachia, Anaplasma, and Neorickettsia. The most common is the Rickettsia. Now, how can we differentiate the rickettsia from the viruses? So, they are similar to viruses. They differ from viruses like the cell wall. Viruses do not have such a type of cell wall. Rickettsia having the gram-negative cell wall that can be stained with the Giemsa or Gimnet stains. They contain both DNA and RNA, and they possess ribosomes for protein synthesis and enzyme for the Krebs cycle. Rickettsia versus viruses multiply by binary fission. Susceptible to antibacterial agents, large enough to be seen under the light microscope, and they are not filtered by the bacterial filter. That's why they are categorized into the bacteria, not the viruses, but very small. What are the features of the rickettsia? They are broadly divided into the typhus group, spotted fever group. So first is the typhus fever group, in which there are two organisms, Rickettsia prowazekii and Rickettsia typhi. Rickettsia prowazekii is responsible for the epidemic typhus and the Brill-Zinsser disease that is caused by the louse. Most commonly is Africa and the South America. Rickettsia typhi is endemic typhus caused by the flea, rubbing of the flea feces over the abraded skin, and it is seen worldwide. Now another one is a spotted fever group. They are the Rickettsia rickettsii, Rickettsia conuri, Rickettsia africae, and Rickettsia acari. Rickettsia is the organism that is the first isolated into the group identified, that is responsible for the Rocky Mountain spotted fever, RMS. It is transmitted by the ticks, mostly seen into the America. Rickettsia conuri, also called as the Indian tick typhus, it is seen to the Europe and Asia. Africae is caused as African tick bite fever caused by ticks, and acari is a rickettsial pox that is caused by the mite. Now, another features of this rickettsia, which are the presentations that can be seen. So generally there is a presentation as a rash, lymph node enlargement, and fever. That is the most common findings. Now in this typhus fever group, there are presence of rash all over the body except palm and sole. While in case of the endemic typhus, the rash is seen mainly over the trunk. These are the antigens of the protease that can be seen as a cross-reacting as a heterophile agglutination test positive for this organism with the protease. Another one is a scrub typhus group. It is responsible for the rash, and it is agglutinated by the OXK antigen of this organism. Spotted fever group. So in this, the Rocky Mountain spotted fever, generally rash is seen over the extremities and the trunk. Indian tick typhus, most common presentation is the rash, eschar at the site of the bite of the tick. In African tick bite fever, vesicular rash is seen and eschar is seen at the site of the bite of the tick. And rickettsial pox is 100% is a vesicular, and eschar is present. So in the history, rickettsia is identified by Howard Taylor Ricketts. Discovered that Rocky Mountain spotted fever is transmitted by tick, and Rickettsia prowazekii is named by the Dar Asha Lima in the honor of the von Prowazek. Both von Prowazek and H. Ricketts died of typhus, which they contracted during their study. Charles Nicholl identified the role of body lice into the transmission of the epidemic typhus. So this was the history of the Rickettsia. Genus Rickettsia is broadly categorized, as I told you, that is into this typhus fever group and spotted fever group. and antigenic structure is similar to that of the gram-negative bacteria. There is a species-specific outer membrane protein OMP-A and OMP-B that is present into this organism. OMP-A is present only in spotted fever group. OMP-B present in both spotted fever and the typhus fever group. And group-specific alkali-stable lipopolysaccharide antigen is also present, found in some Rickettsia and shared by certain strains of the Proteus, OX19, OX2 and OXK strains. Basis of Weil-Felix reaction. Pathogenesis, so mainly route of transmission is by the arthropod vector, bite of the arthropod vector, either biting or by the autoinoculation following rubbing or scratching of the abraded skin or the mucosa. That is contaminated by the insect feces. And aerosol transmission is generally seen in case of the Q fever, that is a Coxiella burnetii. Now pathogenesis, so transovarian transmission is seen into the tick and mite that can serve as a both vector as a reservoir. Portal of entry is through the lymphatics, multiply into the regional lymph node and it spreads to the bloodstream. And target size are generally the endothelial cells. Pathogenesis, addition to the endothelial cells using outer membrane protein A and outer membrane protein B that can lead to the phagocytosis. So these are the obligate intracellular organism. So they penetrate the cell wall, they go inside the epithelial cells, endothelial cells, following phagocytosis, they remain inside the vacuole. Later, in case of the Rickettsia and Orientia, they lysis the vacuoles and flee into the cell. But in Coxiella and Ehrlichia, they continue to live into the vacuoles and they fuse the vacuoles with the lysosome, but they remain inside the phagolysosome. There is no effect of lysosomal enzymes over this organism. Ehrlichia is maintained inside vacuoles and they kill if fused with the lysosome. So Coxiella and Ehrlichia, these two are remain inside the vacuoles. They are seen as a vacuoles. Multiplication by binary fission, 9 to 12 hours is the generation time. Cell to cell spread in the spotted fever Rickettsia can spread from cell to cell. Either other Rickettsia accumulate in the cell until lysis. Why they are residing? They are obligate intracellular because there is a lack of many enzymes required for basic metabolic pathways, and they prefer to use host cell ATP if available rather than produce. So these are the reasons they remain intracellular. So what they do the endothelial cell injury, lipid peroxidation of the host cell membrane, inhibit cell apoptosis by upregulating NF-kB pathway. Endothelial cells enlarge, degenerate, thrombosis, and they rupture and necrose, and then they release the unstable and die quickly. So this is how they causes the cell lysis. In epidemic typhus, it is caused by Rickettsia prowazekii. Vector is a human body louse, Pediculus humanus. It acquires the organism via blood meal, shed into the feces, and then it leads to autoinoculation, the rubbing or scratching of the abraded skin or mucosa contaminated by the louse feces that leads to the penetration into the tissue. And inhalation of the louse feces can also sometimes lead to the bioterrorism. Another one is the epidemic typhus, that is a louse-borne. Acute febrile disease causes the headache, myalgia, eye discharge and rashes. Rash begins on the upper trunk, generalized involving the entire body except face, palm and soles. It leads to the myalgia, usually severe, pneumothorax, crouching in the purundi. Complications are interstitial pneumonitis, CNS involvement, myocarditis and acute renal failure. So epidemic typhus is more severe as compared to the endemic typhus. High louse population is the main risk factor for this, like refugee camps, prisons, overcrowded communities. And in the zoonotic cycle, eastern flying squirrels and their lice and fleas maintain the Rickettsia prowazekii in the environment. Geographical distribution is generally seen to be Africa and South America. Brill-Zinsser disease is a recrudescent illness occurring years after acute epidemic typhoid. That is called as a Brill-Zinsser disease. Endemic typhus is a flea-borne. It is also called as a murine typhus caused by Rickettsia typhi infection. Rat flea or the cat flea, they are responsible. They are sometimes working as a vectors. Mode of transmission is inoculation on the skin or inhalation of the flea's dry feces, less frequently by the flea bite. Reservoir are the rodents, Rattus rattus and Rattus norvegicus are the reservoirs. Clinical manifestation shows the 11 days of incubation period. Symptoms are similar to epidemic typhus but milder and rarely fatal. Fever, headache, myalgia, anorexia and rash that is generally seen with trunk more often than into extremities. While in case of epidemic typhus, the rash was present all over the body. Geographical distribution, endemic, it is worldwide, especially in warm tropics having the high rat infestations. In India, this disease was reported from the Shimla, Kashmir, Mumbai, Jabalpur, Lucknow and Pune. Rocky Mountain spotted fever group. Here it is caused by the Rickettsia rickettsii. Vectors are the ticks. Derma center Andersoni into the USA. Emblyma sigenensis into the Central and South America. So in transmission, it is mostly transmitted by the tick bite. Tick serve as a vector as well as reservoir, and other mammals can serve as a reservoir like dog and the small rodents. So it is a quite severe disease as compared to the other rickettsial disease. There is an incubation period of 4 to 14 days. Fever, headache, rash and frequently myalgia and anorexia are seen. Rashes are present on extremities, wrist and ankles and trunk, initially maculopapillar and hemorrhagic. So complications are generally appear late. Vascular damage, increased permeability, edema, hemorrhage, disseminated intravascular coagulation, interstitial pneumonitis, CNS involvement, myocarditis and renal failure. Most fatal rickettsial disease. It is generally seen most commonly to the USA, Central and South America. More common during tick season, that is a summer in tropics, and among the children and to the males. Indian tick typhus. It is caused by Rickettsia conuri. Vector is transmitted by the tick bite. Clinical manifestations are similar to that of Rocky Mountain spotted fever, occur at the site of the tick bite in 50% of cases. Geographical distribution, Rickettsia conuri is prevalent in Southern Europe, Africa and South Asia. It is also called as the Indian tick typhus. So it is common into the India also. It is widespread into the Nagpur, Jabalpur, Sagar, Pune, Lucknow, Bangalore and Sikandarabad. Other tick-borne fevers are African tick bite fever, maculatum disease, Japanese spotted fever, Queensland tick typhus, Flinders Island spotted fever, etc. Rickettsial pox. It is caused by Rickettsia acari. A vector is a mite. Transoviral transmission is seen. Reservoir is a mice, that is a mus musculus. Clinical manifestations are similar to any other rickettsial disease, but they differ into the rash. Here the rash is a vesicular rash. SR is the site of mite bite and regional lymphadenopathy is seen. It is generally endemic into the USA, Ukraine and Turkey and Mexico. So here the rash will be a vesicular type. So how we go for the laboratory diagnosis of all these diseases? So generally we go for antibody detection, mainstay of diagnosis, but it is non-specific, that is a Weil-Felix test, and a specific test is also available that are the gold standard. What is this Weil-Felix test? So it is a heterophile agglutination test. Rickettsial antibodies are detected using Proteus antigens. And here the procedure is done by the tube agglutination test. So it is a heterophile agglutination test. There is a sharing of this common antigen by the Rickettsia and the Proteus. These are two separate group of bacteria in a separate family, but this antigen is same. So there could be, Rickettsia is not commonly isolated, commonly cultured. So Proteus can be used for a development of the test. So what is this Weil-Felix test? Sera agglutinate with these antigens OX19, OX2 and OXK. 3 antigens are used. These are the strains of the Proteus that are non-motile, and the antigens are used and they give positive test with this kind of diseases like OX19 and sometimes OX2. They give positive reaction when there is epidemic and endemic typhus. Both 19 and 2 together comes positive into tick-borne spotted fever. OXK comes positive into the scrub typhus only. And negative, the tests are negative in case of the rickettsial pox, Q fever, ehrlichiosis and Bartonellosis. The test should be done after 5 to 7 days of onset of fever. Titer of 1:80 is suggestive of the infection. False positive titer. Protease infection. Fourfold rise of antibody titer in paired sera is more meaningful than a single high titer. False negative comes when there is a Prozon phenomena and it is non-specific test. When it comes positive, it should be confirmed with a specific test. Which are the specific antibody tests? So, indirect immunofluorescent assay IFA is the gold standard and reference serological test. Titer of 1:64, more than or equal to 1:64 is considered as significant. Sensitivity and specificity are 94 to 100% and 100% 94 to 100% and 100% respectively. ELISA can be done, indirect immunoperoxidase assay can be done, and rapid test can be done. But the main gold standard is the indirect immunofluorescent assay. Other methods of diagnosis are the histological examination of the cutaneous biopsy sample from a rash, isolation into the cell lines like Vero, primary chick embryo, VI38, HeLa, egg yolk sac inoculation, animal inoculation into the guinea pig, highly infectious. It should be done into the biosafety level 3 facility is required for the culture of this rickettsia. Nail-Muser reaction, it was done previously, nowadays it is not possible. Specimen is inoculated intraperitoneally into the male guinea pigs. So depending on the type of infection, there are different reactions are seen. Rickettsia rickettsii shows a scrotal necrosis, that is into the Rocky Mountain spotted fever. Rickettsia prowazekii, there is a fever without any testicular inflammation. And in case of the Rickettsia typhi, Konori and Ekari, only fever and positive tunica reaction, that is a testicular inflammation. So these three organisms gives a positive tunica reaction, that is called as a Neal-Muser reaction. Rickettsia typhi, Rickettsia konori and Rickettsia akari. Molecular tests are available that can be done from the blood, buffy coat, skin rash biopsy, lymph node biopsy and tissue specimen. So these are the diagnostic modalities for the rickettsia. The drug of choice is a doxycycline, 100 mg BD, 1 to 5 days. Alternate is a chloramphenicol. And how to prevent? So vector control strategies are the mainstay: control of rodents, other animals, improvement of personal hygiene, and vaccine is not available. Okay, so this was about the rickettsia, mainly the rickettsial epidemic typhus, endemic typhus, spotted fever group, and the scrub typhus. Scrub typhus will come. Now, this is a scrub typhus because of the Orientia tsutsugamo-shi. This is the organism is coming under this group of rickettsia. Can occur in areas where a scrub vegetation is consisting of low-flying trees and bushes. It affects the military population. The vector is a thrombiculoid mites. It is an infected thrombiculoid mite. It is also called as a leptothrombidium. So these are the vector. It is also called as a chiggerosis because among all stages of mite, larvae, that is the chiggers, are the only stage that feed on humans. So they are responsible for this infection. That's why it is called as a chiggerosis. Mites maintain through the transovarial transmission. So it is an important reservoir of the infection. So what is the clinical manifestation of this infection? It is seen as a classical triad of SR, regional lymphadenopathy and maculopapular rash. That is a 40 to 50% of the cases. These three things are seen together. SR is a bite of the mite, regional lymphadenopathy and maculopapular rash. Fever, headache, myalgia, cough, GIT symptoms are seen sometimes. Complications like encephalitis, interstitial pneumonia due to vascular injury is also present sometimes. Antigenic diversity is there that give its a Borean, Gilliam, Karp, Kato and Kawasaki. These are the different species, strains. So, scrub typhus is common among the rickettsial diseases. It is the most widespread. 4 elements are essential to maintain the tsutsugamo-shi. That is a thrombiculoid mite should be present in the area. Small mammals like field mice, rats, shrews should be present. Secondary scrub vegetation or forest are the reservoirs. Wet season is favorable for the transmission as the mites lay the eggs and develops into the larva, and that larva is going to bite to the humans. Indian scenario, it is a re-emerging infection into the India. Most common rickettsial disease in India is a scrub typhus. Outbreaks are generally seen to the sub-Himalayan belt from Jammu to Nagaland, Pondicherry, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. It generally seen in the rural areas, not in the urban areas. Treatment is same: doxycycline, chloramphenicol or azithromycin. Effective vaccine is not yet licensed. Several candidate vaccines are under the trial. So that is about the scrub typhus. How we go for diagnosis? So scrub typhus generally gives the positive Weyl Felix test with the OXK antigen, not with OX19, OX2. Here IgG, IgM can be detected by the ELISA test. Indirect immunofluorescent antibody test, that is a gold standard. Again here also ELISA can be done using different antigens from the Guillain, CARP, CATO, Kawasaki, etc. Rapid tests are not recommended because it is not specific. Culture can be done and molecular tests are available for the fast diagnosis. Another group is the Anaplasmaceae. The groups, the main organisms of this group includes the Ehrlichia chifenensis, Ehrlichia ewingi, Anaplasma phagocytophilum, and Neorickettsia senetsu. So these are the organisms, these are the constituents of this group. The disease caused by this Ehrlichia chifenensis is a human monocytic ehrlichiosis, that is HME. Ehrlichia ewingi is responsible for human granulocytic ehrlichiosis. Anaplasma phagocytophilum causes human granulocytic anaplasmosis. Neorickettsia causes human lymphocytic ehrlichiosis. So what happens here, as the name suggested, different leukopenia, thrombocytopenia, elevated liver enzymes. These are the main features of this disease. Leukopenia associated with the thrombocytopenia. These are transmitted generally by the ticks. Only the Neorickettsia is transmitted by the ingestion of the fish carrying the infected flukes. Reservoir are the white-tailed deer, squirrel, mice, and not known in case of the Neorickettsia. So ehrlichiosis, it is reside into the vertebrate reservoirs and target vacuoles of hematopoietic cells. They are pathogenic like Ehrlichia chifenensis and Ehrlichia ewingi. Ehrlichia chifenensis causes human monocytic ehrlichiosis, that is HME. This ewingi is responsible for the human granulocytic ehrlichiosis, that is HGE. So it is responsible for the acute febrile disease, headache, myalgia, arthralgia, cough, pharyngitis. So all the symptoms are non-specific. You cannot align any one system with this. Reside inside phagosome, multiply to produce the following three stages of growth like elementary body, initial body, mulberry-like inclusion called as a morula. Morula and neutrophil in the peripheral blood can be seen into the peripheral blood smear examination. Treatment is same as other rickettsia, that is a doxycycline. Another organism is a Coxiella burnetii. It is also called as a Q fever. History: for a long time the causative agent was unknown, hence query or the Q fever was name given. Edward Derrick identified Coxiella burnetii and named after the two scientists Cox and Burnet who have contributed to its discovery. Primary source of infection is infected cattle, sheep, goat, and reservoirs are wild animals and ticks. Mode of transmission is by inhalation of the infected dust from soil previously contaminated by urine and feces of diseased animals. Ingestion of contaminated milk is also one of the mode of transmission. Transplacental blood transfusion through the skin abrasion, it can be transmission. So these are the different mode of transmission. That's why it is removed from the group of the rickettsia. It is not a vector borne. It is endemic in most part of the world except New Zealand and Antarctica. It is seen to the India, mainly Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, Delhi. That is a most common states where it is seen commonly. It escapes the intracellular killing, resides inside the phagolysosome, resists the acidic environment of this phagolysosome, induces autoantibodies to cardiac and smooth muscle, and surface antigen shows a phase variation in this. Clinical manifestations are acute Q fever is generally 3 to 30 days, hepatitis, interstitial pneumonia, fever, CNS involvement, and pericarditis or myocarditis. Post-Q fever fatigue syndrome, profound myalgia, headache, sweating, arthralgia, muscle fasciculation. 2 to 3 days latency, 2 to 3 years latency is seen, and after that chronic Q fever associated with the endocarditis, underlying valvular heart disease, immunosuppression are seen. So in lab diagnosis, how can go for the identification? It is a pleomorphic gram-negative coccobacilli, fastidious, highly infectious, must be done into the biosafety level 3 facility, monkey kidney cell, Biro cell, shell whale cell culture, human embryonic lung fibroblast cell line, yolk sac, animals such as hamster, mice or guinea pigs can be used. Antibody detection can be done, direct immunofluorescence test, specific test. IgMs can be detected in 7 to 10 days, IgG after 14 days. Chronic infections, OZ, more than 1:6400 titer, and in acute Q fever, antibodies to phase 2 antigens can be seen. Immunodetection of Coxiella burnetii in tissues, immunoperoxidase staining targeting various antigens. Another test is the molecular test that can be done by the PCR. Treatment is doxycycline and quinolones are also effective. For chronic Q fever, hydroxychloroquine is added to alkalinize the phagolysosome and to render the doxycycline act against the organism. So prevention is through the control measure like vaccine, animal husbandry, good animal husbandry practices, pasteurization of the milk by flash method, as the burnetii survives the Holder method of pasteurization. So it is transmitted by milk, so flash method should be utilized for milk pasteurization. Another one is Bartonella. It is a fastidious, facultative intracellular, slow-growing gram-negative bacteria, ability to invade mammalian cells and RBCs. The pathogens are Bartonella bacilliformis, Bartonella quintana, and Bartonella hensleyi. These three are the main causative organism of this disease. Bartonella hensleyi, also called as a cat scratch disease, responsible for bacillary angiomatosis, bacillary paliosis, bacteremia endocarditis. Cats are the mainly reservoir. Exposure to cat by scratch or bite. Cat fleas associated with cat-to-cat transmission but not cat-to-human transmission. In Bartonella quintana, it is responsible for the trench fever. Reservoirs are the humans, and Laos is a main vector for the transmission. Bartonella bacilliformis, so it is responsible for the Bartonellosis, Oroya fever, and Verruga peruana. Reservoirs are the human, and the vector is a sandfly. So these three diseases, Bartonella hensleyi responsible for cat scratch disease, Quintana responsible for the trench fever, and bacilliformis is for Bartonellosis, is the main disease. Bartonella hensleyi transmitted by the cat scratch or bite of the cat flea. It is also caused by the Ephipia felis and Bartonella quintana. It is more common form is typical cat scratch disease, subacute regional lymphadenopathy, and painless erythematous papule or pustule at the site of cat scratch. And in atypical cat scratch disease, hepatitis, splenitis, and retinitis are seen. This is the enlarged lymph node of cat scratch disease. Bacillary angiomatosis, it is also called as epithelial angiomatosis, angioproliferative disorder, neovascular lesions involving the skin and other organs, and it is associated with the HIV and other immunocompromised conditions. Bartonella hensleyi, it is also responsible for the bacillary angiomatosis. These both, Bartonella hensleyi and Bartonella quintana, they both are responsible for bacillary angiomatosis. They can cause skin lesions. Hensleyi is generally responsible for hepatosplenic lesions, that is a subcutaneous, and quintana is responsible for the lytic bone lesions. Bacillary paliosis, it is an angioproliferative disorder involving the liver, spleen and lymph node, and also a bacterium and endocarditis. So these are the possible complications of this Bartonella Hensley. Another one is a Bartonella quintana, transmitted by the humans to body louse feces, that is auto-inoculated into the skin due to scratching. It causes strange fever, endocarditis, bacteremia and bacillary angiomatosis. So this bacillary angiomatosis is seen by Quintana and Hensley. Bartonella Hensley is responsible for the cat scratch disease, and Bartonella quintana is responsible for the French fever. Classical trench fever is an epidemic into the trench of World War I, periodic mild febrile illness starting 4 to 5 days with a 5-day interval between the episode. It is also called as a 5-day fever. It is silent for decades. Now it is re-emerging in USA. Chronic bacteremia and endocarditis is the main presentation. It is transmitted by the vector sandfly. Reservoir, only humans are there. Biphasic diseases seen with the Oroya fever, carrion disease and Verruga peruana. How we can go for the laboratory diagnosis? So blood, lymph node or skin biopsies. The lesions from the skin, biopsy from the skin lesions, lymph node biopsies and the blood. Martin steri silver nitrate staining and immunofluorescence staining are used for microscopy identification. Culture blood agar at 37 degrees Celsius in the presence of 5% CO2 are incubated for 12 to 15 days. And sensitivity can be increased after cell lysis or freezing the sample. Indirect immunofluorescence test can be used, enzyme immunoassay, PCR, these are the other diagnostic modality. So this is all about the Bartonella. So Bartonella quintana and Bartonella Hensley, these are the main two organisms responsible for these diseases. So this is the Coxiella burnetii responsible for the Q fever. Ehrlichiosis, Ehrlichia schiffensis, Evigi, these are responsible for HME and HGE. Scrub typhus, that is caused by the Orientia susugamus. So this completes your